Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Before we get into this one, if you could just hit that button down below, that would massively help me out. And before we get into it as well, make sure you check out the links in the description down below. If you go to my Etsy page, the Leeds United Champions Again Ole Ole print celebrating our promotion at just £5.99. There is also a brand new Leeds Lately print celebrating the channel, and I know a few people have asked for that, so that is now available on the Etsy store. And also there will be more prints added to it as well. So coming up to Christmas, friends, family, birthdays, Christmases, anyone who's a Leeds fan, make sure you go ahead and check out my Etsy page. Now, Leeds United are playing Bournemouth at the weekend, and Bournemouth are managed by Andone Iraola. Now, Andone Iraola is someone who was linked with a move to Leeds a couple of years ago, and I made a video on him, and my kind of strapline for him was that it was Bielsa ball, but a little bit more pragmatic. And he's done really, really well with Bournemouth. He got them up to 6th at one point last season, and did fantastically well with the kind of with the options that he had in his arsenal. He has got some good players. Let's pick out one or two. Antoine Semenyo, we saw how good he was against Liverpool on the opening day. He's a fantastic player, and he's going to be a real threat in this game, provided the fact that I've not made an idiot of myself and he's injured or something, but I think he's fit. But the main thing is the whole system and the way that they play. We'll see a familiar face in Tyler Adams in this game, and to be fair as well, we'll feel like it's a little bit similar to playing against a bit of Bielsa ball. Now, the reason that I say this is it's similar, but it's not the exact same. He's taken inspiration because he had Bielsa as his coach when he was at Bilbao, Andone Iraola. But Iraola is all about the press and the way that he wins the ball back. So let's say in this situation here, Leeds have got the ball in the defensive phase, and you've got Strauch and you've got Rodon with the ball there. Now, actually, tell you what, let's give the ball to Bogle. Now, the way that they press is they go man to man, but they don't go man to man for the entire game, but they go man to man for the press. And they hunt in packs, as you kind of supposed to with your press, and they rely on pressing triggers. So let's say that Bogle has the ball here. Usually, Leeds like to kind of draw the opposition in from narrow areas. Let's move them all up a little bit here. Usually, Leeds like to draw the opposition in from narrow areas before then playing the ball out to the wing and trying to exploit the wide space to try and play out from the back. But what I think is going to be difficult for Leeds in this game is the way that Bournemouth press is going to provide us real difficulties trying to play out from the back. So the first thing that you would see here potentially is Bogle's got the ball, so the winger is going to come in here and he's going to cut off that passing option. You're going to have their fullback is probably going to go right into Dan James's back, and then so his options then are only to kind of go back, but that's where the number 9 fills in. So then you've also got issues there with him being able to play. So you say, okay, well, let's play it into the midfield. But what they'll do is they will basically hunt in packs. So you can see that this kind of group of 5 here will basically say, what are you going to do with it, Jayden Bogle? Because you are now isolated and you're the only one with the ball. And then their trigger to actually go and get him will be this player here. The winger will try to win the ball back, and then he'll have support from the fullback as well. So what Leeds have got to be careful to do is to make sure we play the ball quickly and intelligently as well. Because if the ball is played out here and they start to press us, can Dan James find a little bit of space there before they're able to get their pressing pattern in? Can Dan James maybe peel off the fullback and for a long ball down the line from Jayden Bogle to try to essentially bypass that press? It's going to be difficult, and it's this season the thing that we struggled most against was against Arsenal, who were very quick to press us, to basically say, you're a newly promoted side, how are you going to deal with this? We're going to throw all of our fast attacking players at you full pelt, and how are you going to deal with it? How are you going to be able to play out from the back still? How are you going to get any kind of possession in the game if we are pressing you like this. And this is what Bournemouth are going to do. So in the end, Bogle's only option may be to try and spray a ball down the line, which works well into Bournemouth's favour because they can drop off, win the ball back, and then they've got the possession again to try and attack us. The worst case scenario, though, in this situation is that Jayden Bogle is completely dispossessed by this winger, which means that the winger and the player here can actually start to make runs into the box and cause real trouble for Leeds. So they're going to hunt in packs, they're going to cut off your passing options, and they're going to provide real kind of issues for you in there. The other thing that they'll do is that one of the holding midfielders here, the other one to Tyler Adams, basically goes up and is part of that pressing option. The way that they kind of get protected at the back whilst this is happening, because if Leeds do bypass the press, Bournemouth don't want to just be completely exposed at the back. So what they'll have is one player here, whilst the ball's over on this side, one player here who is on Anton Stack, for example, trying to stop him ever being able to receive the ball. But Tyler Adams is kind of free in here to go anywhere across here to protect the back line or to help out. So let's say that somehow Leeds managed to get the ball back to Darlow or Perry and played it back out the other side. You then might see that Tyler Adams would come and press onto this player who might be Sean Longstaff, and the other player might come in here, and then you might see the press go out the other side. So it's very difficult for teams to play out against Bournemouth. But if Leeds can manage to do that, and I know against Newcastle we did this really well, we had the ball with our goal kicks a lot of the time, and we just didn't really even attempt to... Let's say we've got a goal kick here, right? We didn't really even attempt to try and play out from the back. You'd basically have the Bournemouth defenders would be here. You'd have Metcher or Calvert-Lewin, whoever it might be, up here. Then you have your wingers in support, your midfielders like so, and your full-backs would be up here a little bit as well. Let's move Bournemouth back into position. And this is kind of how the game would look. If we move them up like that, you'd basically say, we're not going to attempt to play out from the back. Everybody get up the pitch, and then Lucas Perry is going to take a long goal kick, and it's going to go to Calvert-Lewin or Lucas Metcher, who will try to bring the ball down against the defenders here and try and create that space to get up the pitch without having to go through that press and to bypass that press completely. I think that might have been one of the things that we learned from the Arsenal game when we then went to play against Newcastle, who are also a Champions League side. We've basically said, let's not even worry about playing out in our own half. Let's send the ball long. Hopefully we can get the knockdowns in their half, and then it's so much less dangerous playing in those areas. Now, from what I've said there, Bournemouth sound like the best team in the world and like they could suffocate anyone. But the few things to note here is that Bournemouth have lost a few key players. Dejan Huijsen went over to Real Madrid. There was a few others. Milos Kerkez has gone to Liverpool, so now they've brought in a new left-back who is decent, but is he on the level of what Kerkez was for them last season? That kind of remains to be seen over the course of the season. So they've definitely lost a few of their key players. So that's one thing to know. So they're not the best side in the world. They will try to suffocate Leeds, but if Leeds can attempt to basically bypass that and not have that be an issue in the game by playing longer passes, that might play into Leeds' favour. The other thing is, Bournemouth really like to kind of control the tempo of a game, especially when it's at 0-0 or they're trying to get a goal back. They will be pinging the ball around really fast in these areas and are really good at doing so. Basically like what you used to see Leeds do under Bielsa in those championship years, even in the Premier League as well. The amount of times you'd see like a Strauch into Firpo, into Calvin Phillips, into Jack Harrison, and the passing was so crisp and so fast. Think of the goals against Hull that Tyler Roberts scored and stuff when we played just like bang, 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 like really fast football to get up the pitch. That's what Bournemouth try to do as well, and they're very good at it. But what I will say is that Bournemouth are good at doing that and controlling the tempo of a game to their speed, but if they go a goal up, they're not necessarily that great at holding on to the lead. They could end up with draws or even losses in those situations because sometimes they aren't able to necessarily slow down the game enough to kind of take the sting out of it and to stop the opposition coming back into it, which is probably a criticism you could have had against Bielsa's Leeds as well. So there are opportunities here for Leeds. If we can A, bypass the press, and B, take advantage of the fact that they can't really slow down the game when it needs to be, and when the sting needs to be taken out of it, Leeds can, hopefully with the fitness that we've got, exploit that and get in behind a couple of times, especially if there is that kind of press here and we can bypass it with a ball down the line. Dan James's pace, or no, Okafor's pace, whoever that is, you've got to get opportunities to put the ball in the box. So that's my thoughts on the game at the weekend. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Of course, thanks for watching Leeds Lately. And like I said, remember to check out those links in the description down below. We will be live for the game on the channel, so make sure you come over and join our lovely live stream community, who makes it a warm and welcoming place for every new person that comes in there. Thanks for watching Leeds Lately, and I'll see you in the next one.